Hey, what's up guys? Shuckle King here, bringing you my Week 1 Team Builder and Battle for the PPL Season 7 versus TTM Styx. I've never played him before, but I heard he's a pretty good battler, so I'm pretty excited for this matchup. His team, consisting from, in my opinion, the most to least threatening on his team, is Mega Gallade, Zapdos, Garchomp, Greninja, Buzzwole, Metagross, Swampert, Diancie, Amoonguss. Now I know Garchomp has Z move access and Diancie has Z move access. But I wouldn't really expect Diancie to carry Z moves. I'd expect Garchomp to have it. I really like his team, be something I would definitely draft. I've never drafted Buzzwole, but I really like everything else in his team otherwise. He has some good synergies there, like with Garchomp, Swampert, Diancie is a pretty decent defensive core there. Zapdos is such a underrated threat in general, can be offensive or defensive. Mega Gallade is at least the top 3, maybe one of the best Megas out there. Maybe not with Mega Latios. In this league, Mega Gallade is probably the biggest threat to my team as Ice Punch, Fighting Move, Psychic Move, just destroys my team. I don't have really switch-ins to that. He could be Sword Stance, he could be Sub, he could be Bulk Up for that last move. But I would imagine he would run Ice Punch, and then Fighting Move could be Drain Punch, Close Combat, depending what he wants. More longevity if he's a bulkier setter, just flat out Brawl Power. Zapdos, I really don't have an answer for offensive Zapdos. He could bring defensive against my team, but I would highly doubt it. I think an offensive set to add speed my Landorus with Hidden Power Ice, Heat Wave, and Volt Switch or Discharge or Thunderbolt, plus Roost. Makes a lot of sense with this team. I don't think he's going to bring Defog. If he doesn't bring Defog Zapdos, and he doesn't have Hazard Removal. Garchomp, if he brings it, he'll probably be Z Fire move to get through my Ferrothorn, though he could bring Z Grounds, but I would kind of doubt it with Landorus being a pretty easy check as well as Latios. A Z Dragon set also makes sense against my team, but that outspeeds my Landorus, so that's an issue. And Infernape can't kill it, but Weavile and Latios revenge kill pretty easily. Next, Greninja. I have, usually you don't have 2 things on your team that outspeed it naturally, but I do have Weavile, which can carry Low Kick and kill it, and I have Mega Manectric that obviously doesn't really care about Greninja. Toxic Spikes are annoying if I don't bring my Toxapex, and Spikes are annoying if I don't bring Hazard Removal, so I have to watch out for that. I also expect that he could be a Scarf set to outspeed my Latios, or like a Scarf Latios or a Scarf Infernape, because I'm probably not going to bring Scarf Weavile in this matchup. The rest of his team is not as offensive threatening. I really don't expect Amoonguss to come whatsoever, but otherwise Buzzwole, Metagross, Swampert, Diancie, I can expect just about any of those to really come in a bulkier role because some of them handle certain Pokemon on my team better than is other more threatening offensive stuff. So the first Pokemon I decided to bring was a Max Attack Adamant Rockium Z Landorus-T. Now this is nice because Stone Edge should be able to kill Zapdos unless he is like bulky Charty Berry Zapdos set. I should be able to knock it out with a Z Stone Edge. Earthquake hits his team really hard, otherwise he really doesn't have a great answer to it besides Buzzwole. And a +2 Z Stone Edge has a chance to knock it out, depending if he's really bulky or if he's really bulky, it probably will knock it out. But if he's not bulky, then I will be able to knock out the Buzzwole with +2 Z Stone Edge. Next, I have Weavile with Life Orb, Sword Stance, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is there for the Buzzwole. Otherwise, Icicle Crash hits Gallade, hits Zapdos, hits Garchomp. It hits Greninja okay. If after rocks, it probably will to a KO because I am Life Orb. It doesn't hit the Metagross, but I feel like going for knockoff isn't going to be my preferred play, especially with Zapdos having the potential to run static, and then I get paralyzed there, so I really don't want that to happen. I feel like a nice move is generally free, because if resisting Greninja will get to a KO'd, and Metagross probably won't be his primary switch-in if I have knockoff, and then Buzzwole can somewhat handle it, but Aerial Ace should not be a problem for Buzzwole there. I have Sword Stance as the last move. If I can set up a Sword Stance on like threatening out a Zapdos, or threatening out a Greninja, threatening out a Swampert, or even like an Amoonguss, then I should be in pretty decent shape there. Next I have Manectric with enough speed to outspeed max speed Greninja. Pretty straightforward set. Hidden Power Grass makes sense because he has the Swampert on his team. He might expect me to run Hidden Power Ice to handle the Garchomp, but I have Weavile and Latios spoilers to handle the Garchomp, so it's not as big of an issue. And I have other things to also handle the Garchomp. So I wanted something to handle the Swampert, and he probably would expect me to bring Hidden Power Ice. So if he expects Swampert to be a pretty safe switch in, and I can bop that with Hidden Power Grass and do a ton of damage to it. Next I have Latios, Choice Scarf, Psychic, Draco Meteor, Energy Ball, Trick. Now this set allows me to add speed, make a Gallade no matter what. I mean, he could be Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, and that would just be unfortunate if he did bring that set. A Psychic hits his team besides the Greninja and the Metagross. The Greninja get hit by the Draco Meteor really hard. An Energy Bulb will kill the Swampert and do a lot of damage to the Diancie. Because he does bring Diancie, I can expect it to be a special defensive set. He could bring physically defensive, but I would imagine a more special defensive set. Easier take on the Latios. Trick is there in case if his Metagross, like an Assault Vest Metagross, is a pretty good answer to Latios, because I could have Shadow Ball, so he can definitely run Assault Vest to prevent the 2-hit KO there. So if I can trick the Metagross with a Choice Scarf, then it's definitely not as useful as it would be otherwise, whatever item that he would have. Next, Ferrothorn with max HP, max defensive. Could say a little uninspired with this set, but honestly, I really don't need any special defense investment. Mega Gallade's gonna hit in the physical side Zapdos. I can take a Heat Wave anyway with the Naka Berry. Garchomp, I could probably take a Fire Blast, unless if he's max special attack. Maybe not. Greninja, not too worried about it. Buzzwole to physical attack, and Metagross physical. Swampert, it's not going to do much if he has like Hidden Power Fire or whatever. Same with Diancie. Amoonguss is not going to do much of Hidden Power Fire, especially because I have Naka Berry. So that's why I'm pretty comfortable just going max defensive and trying to take as many hits as possible. Plus it allows me to potentially live a +2Z Fire Fang from Garchomp. Power Whip, Grass move hits his team fairly hard, and I don't hit the Buzzwole, Metagross, or Amoonguss. But at least I can knock them off. I'm probably not going to stay in on a Buzzwole, but if I can get an Assault Vest off of Metagross and an Assault Vest off an Amoonguss, I'm definitely okay with that. Spikes to pressure his team, because Zapdos is the only form that has removal, and I doubt he's going to bring Defog Zapdos based on my team, and then Leech Seed to get some recovery. And the last Pokemon I have is Infernape. Special set, Wise Glasses, Fire Blast, Hidden Power Steel, Focus Blast, and U-Turn. Fire Blast, Focus Blast hit his team fairly hard. I wanted to go special. He might not expect that set to come, and Fire Blast will kill the Buzzwole if I am Flare Blitz, like a physical set instead of a special set. Then the Buzzwole can take Flare Blitz and knock me out in return with an Earthquake. So I really don't want that to happen. Infernape is a pretty good revenge killer for the Buzzwole, because otherwise Latios is as well. But if he's like a Scarfed into Leech Life and I trick off my Scarf at Latios, then that would be a little bit of a problem. So Infernape can at least come in that regard. Hidden Power Steel is there for the Diancie, which is probably the safest answer to check my Infernape, just because I could have Grass Knot to bop the Swampert. So he could either be like a Rindo Berry set, or he's going to be more like a special defensive Diancie. So if I can get a bunch of damage off at Hidden Power Steel, or maybe even kill it if he's like at half HP, that would definitely be a nice surprise kill for me there. That's my team. I feel pretty good about this matchup. All the teams in this league are pretty threatening, but I feel like I have a decent chance here. Hopefully I can hazard stack him, and either my Latios at the end, Manectric, Weavile should be able to clean up in the end. I did not bring Toxapex just because Mega Gallade, Zapdos, Garchomp all handle it pretty well, though it's a pretty good answer to Greninja and Buzzwole. Everything else, Rhyperior is going to be a niche just because he has Greninja, Buzzwole, Swampert, Metagross, and Bronzor. Going to be very rare that I'm going to bring that. Aldino is not great because he has the Mega Gallade. So that's my team. Let's get right on to the match. All right, here we are for the match. Shout out to Dallas Boy for making this layout here. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited when he showed me what he made. And he's also made my logo in the past. He does great art, so I'll put his link in the description below for his information. Thank you to Joseph Games for recording my battle. And thanks for youngster Bill Sablo 6-Foot Hacks for helping me team build. So as we can see with Styx's team, he has no guard jump. I'm kind of surprised about that, but I guess he figured a combination of Hidden Power Ice, Manectric, and Weavile and Latios all revenge kill it pretty easily. And so I guess that's why he didn't bring guard jump. Diancie plus Swampert is going to be a pretty annoying defensive core. I do have Hidden Power Steel on my Diancie to hopefully hit it. And I do have Hidden Power Grass on my Manectric to hopefully hit that Swampert. But we'll see if that works out or not. But early on, I would want to figure out which one's physically defensive, what's special defensive, because I figured one of those is going to be his lead rocker. Metagross is probably Assault Vest. Zapdos will be Speedy Dads be my Landorus with 3 attacks Roost. Greninja will be Spikes or Toxic Spikes in that combination. And Gallade will be Ice Punch, Fighting Move, Psychic Move, Swords Dance, or Sub, or Bulk Up, or even Shadow Sneak could be a possibility there. So I want to lead with my Ferrothorn as soon as possible. Ferrothorn is nice lead against the Diancie, the Metagross, Swampert, and Greninja. It's good against the Metagross because I can knock off the potential Assault Vest. Or if he is Stealth Rocks, then that's fine. I can get a decent chip on it to hopefully Latios can wear it down a little bit throughout the match. It would be bad if he led the Gallade because I really don't have a switch into it. But otherwise, I do like the lead of Ferrothorn, and I guess I could take a Heat Wave if I had to from the Zapdos. So here's the battle against Styx, and he is going to lead with Jolts here. What is that going to be? You got the Diancie. Okay, so Ferrothorn is a pretty good lead against this. I can Power Whip turn 1. I'm not going to over-predict. I can gauge the damage on his Diancie as he probably is going to get up rocks. And it's good information to know what his spread is. He actually goes for Hidden Power Fire, though. So that's going to do a decent bit of damage if he's Special Attack Invest, but otherwise shouldn't do a whole lot. And based on that damage, he has no Special Attack Investment. So that's good to know. It's pretty defensive, but I don't know if he's physically or special defensive because I missed a power-up. That puts me pretty far back because I don't have that knowledge of what type of set he is, but he does go for the rocks, so that makes sense. Now I'm going to just go for the Leech Seed, predicting that he's going to switch out into the Zapdos because he doesn't want to take the Power Whip. But he does decide to stay in. It works out for him. He gets rocks up. And I only get 12% on this Diancie here. Again, pretty far back because I need that damage. So hopefully my Weavile can do damage. If he's physically defensive, Weavile is going to be a little bit hurting because it really can't break through Diancie that easily. He is now going to switch out of his Diancie and go into his Zapdos. And for here, I'm going to just go right for a Spike. If he's going to keep staying in on me, I should be able to take 2 HP Fires. Or at least 1, and I can get Spikes up. So I am okay with this exchange here. He could defog, but I doubt he's going to have it. I am going to switch in my Latios, because even if he Hidden Power Ices, it's not going to do that much damage. And I can find out what type of set he is from this point. I would expect he's going to go right for the Heat Wave. Pretty safe for him, and he does. And based on the damage that he does to me, I know he is max Special Attack Zapdos and probably not bulky. So he wants to add speed in my Landorus. So predicting him to go right into his Metagross, I'm going to go for the Trick. And as I find out, I get rid of his Citrus Berry, but I'll definitely take that. I'm okay with getting rid of my Scarf because I do have my Weavile and my Manectric to add speed, a Gallade, and hopefully Revenge Kill it. And if I can get rocks and maybe even a second layer of spikes up with Ferrothorn, I might be able to kill it from full. So that's great info for me. Predicting him to just go for really a Meteor Mash. I'm going to go to my Ferrothorn, but I'm really sacking it off. I just want to get as much damage off as I can with my my Iron Barbs. He does go for the Hammer Arm, which is a good play. My Ferrothorn switch was very, very obvious. But I'm okay with this as long as I can weaken this Metagross, because my Latias cannot break through it and my Weavile cannot hit it because I don't have knockoff. But I do expect Bullet Punch, but like even if maybe later on in the game, if I wanted to have knockoff and gone for it safely, and maybe he was just sacking off his Ferrothorn because now he's Scarfed, I won't be able to do that because I don't have knockoff. But fortunately, I do get Iron Barb's damage and bring it down to around 60-ish%. So I'm definitely okay with this exchange here. Ferrothorn did not do his job because he did not get the Power Whip off on the DNC, and I don't know what that set is, but that's alright. I'm going to bring in my Landorus, and this is a great time for me to get rocks up. You could bring in the Zapdos right here. It's not terribly risky on him to do that, but again, I don't expect him to have a defog, so I feel like these rocks are here to stay, and I'm getting my hazard stack, so I'm okay with this exchange. He's going to stay in, go for the Hammer Arm. Does not do much damage at all. He does get a little bit of chip, which is nice in his regards. But I figured if I Earthquake here and kill the Metagross, then it opens up my Weavile a lot. But I feel like the Zapdos play was very, very obvious, and I should have gone for the Z Stone Edge here and knocked out the Zapdos. But I do not go for that, or fortunately. Yeah, like even if he stayed in with his Metagross and I went for a Z Stone Edge, I would have still done decent damage. And if he brought in the Zapdos after that, I would have maybe not killed, but would have done a lot of damage in return. And he is going to go for the Hidden Power Ice and kill me. He was playing pretty aggressive, so I was hoping that he was going to overpredict and maybe go like double switch or go for a Heat Wave. But he didn't want to mess around with Landorus, which is definitely fair. Fortunately, I do get my Weavile in, and it's a pretty safe Icicle Crash for me. Knockoff would be even safer, but if he is like a static set, I really don't want to get hit by that. So I also don't have knockoff, so I have to go for the Icicle Crash here. He does bring in a Metagross. Unfortunate that I don't have knockoff on this set, but it really didn't make sense to have it based on the team that I have. So yeah, I go for the Icicle Crash, and I do not do too much at all. Pretty far behind here in this point. I feel like I might have to be a little aggressive throughout this match. I go into my Infernape because I predict he's going to go for the Bullet Punch, because if he's like a bulky Metagross and doesn't have speed, I would still add speed anyway. So I think he has to go for the Bullet Punch here. So I'm going to go into my Infernape, and hopefully he does go for the Bullet Punch. If he goes for like a Meteor Mash, that's okay too, but he does go for the Bullet Punch. So I am okay with this. I will be able to kill with a Fire Blast here. It's fairly safe, especially because I do have a Hidden Power Steel, so DNC isn't the best switch into this. Not that he knows that. If he goes into DNC, I'm thrilled with that. But he does go into the Swampert, and he doesn't know if I'm physical or special, so I guess Swampert is more of a middle ground play there. This might lend that the DNC is more physically defensive based off that. I go for the Fire Blast, and if I had Grass Knot, I'd be able to knock out this Swampert. And I figured he would predict that I would have a Grass Knot and switch out, but I'm not going to stand with my Infernape anyway. Latios is a pretty safe switch in, so he really doesn't have anything to take a Latios at this point. He'd have to revenge kill with Greninja is the best way to handle the Latios at this point. But unfortunately, he does go for the Scald. He pops my Berry, which is good for me. I can recover a little bit more health here from the Scald burn damage, but he does get the burn. So that's also pretty unfortunate. In coupled with the Power Whip miss there. I just have been a little bit on the bad end of luck here, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm just getting worn down a little bit. And as we can find out later on here, he is going to go for the Protect and Scat Out that I do have Energy Ball. Again, that really doesn't matter because I'm going to be able to kill no matter what. I go for the Energy Ball here. If he brings in, say, the Metagross is going to die to Rocks and Spikes. If he brings in a Zapdos, it's going to die to a Draco Meteor or a Psychic. If he brings in the DNC, it probably doesn't want to take 2 Energy Balls unless if he's max Special Defensive, which, again, I don't know. But maybe I'll find out later in the match. So he is going to switch out to Swampert. It's a pretty good answer to my Infernape, and he would expect a good answer for my Manectric, but it is not. So he does go into Zapdos. Zapdos did his job of taking out the Landorus. So I will knock out the Zapdos with a combination of Energy Ball plus Psychic. So at this point, the Greninja is a pretty big problem because it can revenge kill my Latios, and I really don't have the best switch into it. I could stay in with my Latios. At this point, I have my Weavile alive, I have my Infernape, my Manectric. At this point, I had to figure out the win, I think, with my Infernape plus Mega Manectric. Because my Weavile probably can't break through the DNC plus the Swampert. And I do have stuff to outspeed the Gallade. So I figured my Weavile was the least useful. Latios is still useful because I could speed tie with the Mega Gallade as well as Energy Ball being able to knock out the Swampert. And Energy Ball should probably 2-hit KO to DNT unless if he's specially defensive. So he is going to U-turn and kill me with the Greninja. I guess if he Dark Pulse there was also a chance I could live that. But it was more of a sack-off place. I figured Latios was more useful than the Weavile, and I figured I needed Infernape plus Mega Manectric to give me a chance in this match. So he goes into the Metagross here, and he actually does not die to the combination of Spikes plus Stealth Rocks. That's pretty unfortunate because I'm forced to take a Bullet Punch. Now at this point I could have gone into my Mega Manectric and gotten my Mega off and gone for the Hidden Power Grass. I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to be able to knock it out with the Hidden Power Grass. And if I went for the Volt Switch, he could have gone into Swampert, protected, and then maybe have been in range of taking the Hidden Power Grass, and then I would have been in really, really bad position there. Depending on if he is more of a special defensive spread. So I'm not entirely sure based on the Fire Blast damage. I think he has some special attack investment. So instead of going to Greninja here, he goes into Diancie, which I thought was a weird play because Greninja just revenge kills me no matter what. Maybe he didn't want to get Spikes and Stealth Rock damage on it. So I was like, okay. I mean, I'm just sitting here with Latios anyway. I might as well go for the Energy Ball. Maybe it'll kill. That damage shows he is physically defensive. But he goes for the Z move here. I was wondering what type of Z move is this. And I saw the Normalium Z, and Z Heal Bell makes a lot of sense. So he's going to recover up to full. So that miss of the power-up was really, really unfortunate. It forced it to be in a position of like 60th%. He would have gone into Greninja here if I hit the power-up before. And maybe Infernape would have surprise killed with the Hidden Power Steel maybe later on in the match. Greninja would have gone in there, forced a U-turn. I felt like I had more plays later on in the match. But anyway, I have Infernape here and my Mega Manectric. I go for the Hidden Power Steel. I'm sure he did not expect this at all. And I get a ton of damage off, which is great. And at this point, I feel like my Manectric has a chance to win this game. He's going to go for the Moonblast. And I know he's not special attack investment. It's going to do a decent amount of damage. But at this point, I have to U-turn and get into my Mega Manectric. I cannot allow my Infernape to kill this Diancie because the Gallade just comes in and kills me. And my Manectric isn't going to be able to knock out the Mega Gallade from full unless I get like a crit or para. Or probably both, actually, with the Manectric. Or if I get a para, then I'd be able to handle Diancie. So I have to switch, get into my Manectric here, Mega, and kill the Diancie here. So I do take a ton of damage. It's pretty unfortunate, but I will stay in here. I probably should have Thunderbolted to maybe bait the Swampert to come out, and then I could have gone for the Hidden Power Grass there and maybe knocked it out. But I do go for the Hidden Power Grass here and knock out the Diancie, which is fine. At this point, he's probably not going to Greninja because I can kill it. He's not going to Swampert because I revealed a Hidden Power, which is Grass. So at this point, he's going to go into Mega Gallade. And my only chance of winning is hoping that Volt Switch plus Thunderbolt can knock out the Gallade here. Then Hidden Power Grass would be able to knock out the Swampert, and Greninja does not have Water Shuriken. They're all the combination of those three is pretty unlikely, but it could definitely happen. So we'll see what happens. He does go into the Gallade here, gets his Mega off, and I am able to Volt Switch out and go into my Infernape, the other last Pokemon on my team. And that does a decent amount of damage. So he doesn't have a ton of bulk, maybe a little bit. I don't think he has a whole lot of bulk based on his damage. He's definitely not a max HP. So I just go into Infernape, have to sack it off, bring in my Manectric, and hopefully kill with a Thunderbolt there. He goes through the Drain Punch and it knocks me out. That's fine. So now I'm forced to go into Manectric. Hidden Power Grass would be probably unnecessarily risky there. because he could have gone into Swampert because the Thunderbolt play was super, super obvious. I would have to go for that move to kill the Gallade, and then he could have protected, maybe done some shenanigans and lived in Paragrass. If he was going for differential, he could have done that. But I go for the Thunderbolt and hopefully knock out the Mega Gallade, but I do. So I still have a chance in this match because I outspeed a Greninja and kill with a Thunderbolt. It really all comes down to killing the Swampert with Hidden Power Grass. But he brings in a Greninja here, so I 100% know I lose because he does have Water Shuriken. And based on the way he was playing, I kind of figured he was saving Greninja for the Water Shuriken at the end of the battle. So maybe if he only gets 2 hits, I can live, but no. Easily 2 hits is able to knock me out. So unfortunate game there. The Power Whip put me pretty far behind, even if he later revealed that he has the Z heal bell to heal himself up to full. It just put me on the back foot. I couldn't play my Weavile as aggressively as I wanted to because I knew Mega Diancie probably could handle it, especially because I figured out that he was physically defensive midway through the match. But otherwise, a pretty clean game. Good games to Styx. I learned how to battle on Wi-Fi now, which is good. I get this first game of playing on Wi-Fi in over a year out of the way. Figured out how to do calculations on the fly. It wasn't terribly hard. I was able to figure out what his sets were based on just intuition and just playing the match throughout. So being able to do the quick calcs and making quick plays with the timer wasn't too big of an issue for me. But this was more of a learning game. It was too bad it was against Styx. He's probably one of the toughest opponents here. But hopefully I can redeem myself in future weeks. But until next time, later guys.